Hey guys, it's Brennan the Paleo Dude, and welcome back to another Jurassic World unboxing video. Today we'll be taking a look at the brand new Mamenchisaurus from the Jurassic World Legacy Collection lineup. This guy just hit stores in Canada. It's on retail for about $110 Canadian. You can find it at Toys R Us's in, I think, Quebec, Ontario, and Alberta right now, so be sure to check your local Toys R Us. And I'm pretty sure it's already starting to hit shelves in the States, but right now I have not seen any other videos on YouTube of this figure, nor have I seen anyone posting about it on Instagram, so I am going to try and get as much detail in these videos as I can for you guys, as like a kind of early preview and sneak peek on this figure. So you can see the box art is just stunning. I love the renders they did. It would have been more interesting if they weren't directly just photoshopped over the toy itself. But I do like that there's two of them in the natural Lost World habitat. You can see the trees in the background. There's even a little dude on a bike. And then that kind of like dry grass from the hunting trail on the ground. The back of the box extends the same kind of graphic. You can see the tail and then the trees, and then the neck articulation and tail articulation down here are shown. You can pose it up and down, side to side, and then the very back of the box has the same image just on a vertical, horizontal, vertical, whatever, yeah, vertical kind of graphic, and you can see how long it is on the top corner. 126 plus centimeters, or 49 plus inches long, and they show a kid there for scale, and then scan code thing, name, etc. So there's the box. It also shows how to put it together. It seems like this guy's gonna be so long we're gonna get the tail in two pieces and the neck in two pieces. This is the first time we've had a sauropod like that, where the neck and tail are two pieces instead of one. So I'm pretty excited to compare it to the Dreadnoughtus and the Apatosaurus. I'll push these guys out of the way, get some space, and then we'll dig right in. So, try and get it so the box, there we go, because I've got to stand up for this one. I don't want to damage the box too much, so let's find a corner that is this one. So I got a knife, and we're just going to cut the glue, because the box is not taped. I'm not sure, I think, oh, there's some glue holding both of these down. So I think what I'll do is I'll just cut here. And then I'll pull. There we go. And everything should just slide out. There we go. So we got the two tail pieces in one bag. That is some nice paint job on there. Some brown blotches, and then one neck piece is in here. You can see the bottom is tanned, and then we've got the end of the head here. The head is tiny. This is the smallest sauropod head we've got so far. It is so minuscule. We'll have to, again, compare it to the rest when I get it assembled, but this is super small. Totally not expecting it to have such a small neck, or head. I mean, it makes sense in proportion to the body and like in the promo images, but like this head is really, really small. I thought the sauropod would just be like big, and then the head itself be like, in contrast to that, small, but not to the rest. I don't know what I was thinking. I like it. I'm not complaining. Small heads make more sense on a sauropod, but usually Mattel goes with larger head sculpts for their figures anyways. Okay, so we got the tail. We'll put that together. So there's a little thing sticking out there, right there, and then it kind of like locks into there. And it does not rotate, it's just stiff in there. And the plastic itself seems like it's got that extra bit of like brown thrown in. You can see the swirls in the plastic, kinda. I don't know, why is the lighting kind of funky? There we go. Yeah, it's got those swirls, like a lot of the Dominion figures had in it. So I think we stick, there we go. And yeah, so the neck rotates like that on this part of the neck. And then the head has this little ball joint. So you can make it look up, down, side to side, all around. And then the mouth opens, and the mouth actually is fully painted, top and bottom jaw. But that's kind of it for head paint, except for like this here. The kind of like chin, throat area is painted. So let's grab the body now. The body is pretty compact. It seems to be maybe a little shorter, if not the same size as the Apatosaurus. But the tail, oh my goodness. Tail is I think as long as the brachii. Holy cow. So we're gonna plug that in. Am I doing it right? Gotta plug it in sideways. I think rotate it. There we go. So the tail is on a rotating joint, and I think, yeah, it goes side to side. And then for the neck, it locks in here, and the neck can go up and down. Oh, that is nice. Okay. So I'll leave it up for now because I want to fit it on camera. So with the neck standing up, it is as tall, maybe a tad bit shorter than the Brachiosaurus. Yeah, that's the peak of its neck height. So you can see it is just under the Brachiosaurus. From this angle, it's not the best, but there we go. The head comes to about the snout level on the brachii, which is totally not bad. I think it's also the same with the Legacy Brachio. Let me just reposition the neck here. Yeah, the Legacy Brachio is a tad bit taller than the Hammond collection one. So you can see its head actually goes right above the Mamenchi head, like literally just above it. So that's kind of the height for this guy compared to the Brachios. And now we'll do height compared to Dreadnoughtus. So that's the peak Dreadnoughtus height. So they're about the same height on the head. That's as far up as the neck goes on the Dreadnoughtus and the Mamenchi. So they're the same height. And then obviously the Apatosaurus, its neck does not go up. So that's how high the neck is in comparison. And now we'll do the length of the figures. So I think Mamenchi might be longer than Dreadnoughtus. Okay, so I'll make sure maximum length. So there is Mamenchi compared to the Apatosaurus. The neck on the Apato goes about halfway down the neck of the Mamenchi. And then the Brachiosaurus, let's put the tail end, also goes about halfway. I'll move this brachio out of the way so we can do the Dreadnoughtus. Tail tip. So the Dreadnoughtus is actually quite a bit longer than the Mamenchisaurus. So I lined up their tail tips, and you can see the Mamenchisaurus goes about 3/4 of the way up the Dreadnoughtus neck, but it still has that extra length on it. So it is very long, longer than the Apado, longer than the Brachy, but not as long as the Dreadnoughtus, which I was expecting at least the neck portion to be quite long, but the tail actually takes the cake. You can see the tail of the Mamenchi is almost as long, if not as long, as the Dreadnoughtus tail. The back end of the Dreadnoughtus is actually not as tall as the Mamenchi's. It's got the long leg in the back, sort of like the Apatosaurus, and then these little short legs in the front, whereas Dreadnoughtus has more like a brachy build, where the front end is kind of taller. I think that's it. I'll put the Rex next to it as well for comparison, but obviously, there we go. It's gonna come up to about the shoulders, base of the neck, and then obviously the neck's super long. But yeah, so that's the Mamenchisaurus in comparison to some of the sauropod figures and the Rex. Now we'll dive into the details on this guy. So the body details are quite standard in comparison to other sauropods like the Apado. This guy has kind of pebbly skin, especially on the legs. You can see on the Apado it's more like a crisscrossy elephant style. Also on the Brachiosaurs, they have a similar pattern where it's all wrinkly, but this guy has kind of like this rocky texture along the body. The back has wrinkles, the neck has wrinkles, and the tail also has them going down, but the tail ends in that kind of rocky pattern. The tail is bendy, rubbery plastic. This part of the tail though is hard plastic, hollow, and it has these brown splotches, these round paint kind of blotches of dark brown along the back, and they have solid in the center, and then they kind of like mellow out. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 of those kind of brown blotches along the body, and those run up all the way to the neck, getting closer together as they get closer to the head. The head itself has no brown paint on it. The only things painted on that are the eye and the connection to the neck there behind the bottom jaw. And then obviously the inside of the mouth is fully painted like I showed before. Same with the teeth. And the details on the head are really nice. You can see all the details, small little scales around the eye, the nostril holes on the top of the head, the front of the mouth, all these scales around the lips too, and the ear. And then articulation for the head's really nice. You can swivel it around, open the mouth, etc. And then there's an extra point of articulation on the neck here where you can rotate it and make it look around, side to side. And then the neck articulation on the base here is just up and down like the Brachiosaurus, so you can go pretty low, too low actually, to the point where the neck is hitting the ground. Maybe you can make it like lying down, which looks pretty weird. And then, so drinking and eating has a pose, and then stationary pose where it's just facing forward, which looks really nice, and then that straight up pose where it's got that kind of S shape to it. kind of like the brachio, where that also looks pretty nice for display. But the wide range of motion for the neck is spectacular. I think it's one of the best we have for the sauropods so far, just due to the fact that the shape of the neck and the range of how far down and up it can go is a lot greater than what we've got before. We also have the scan code there, for those of you who play that scan code app game. And then there's standard articulation on the legs too. They lock into place at certain positions. So there's 3 sort of positions for the the back leg, where it's kind of like running, standing, and then whatever the heck that is. And I assume it's the same for the other side. Yep. 3 kind of positions. And the front leg also has that. There's in between. It doesn't like automatically snap into the 3 positions, but there is in betweens because these are not loose, which is nice. This side also looks pretty good with the legs close together instead of separated. And you can see the details on the legs are really nice. Again, remind me of like elephants with those knees and then the ankles. The toes are unpainted. But the fact that the texture is different makes them stand out, which I like. That's pretty nice. And then the tail articulation, finally, it sways side to side. And you can rotate it. So you can move it up or down. The rotation is nice, but it is stuck at this kind of level. Fortunately for us, it doesn't look too bad. The tail kind of droops down at the end. Unintentionally, that is part of the mold. And it's not because the joint or anything, because the joint itself goes side to side. So maybe you can position it up like that. I don't know. There's a lot of articulation with the neck and tail, which will come in handy for photography and it on a shelf. But I think that sums up the Mamenchisaurus. The paint is fantastic. I love it. Even the underbelly is painted. The neck is painted. This kind of underbelly paint only goes to the chest and it stops at the bottom, but that's not bad because we don't really see the stomach too much. But there would be room to have that paint down there if it did continue. And it looks really nice next to the rest of the sauropods. So I'll kind of set this guy up with the rest so we can kind of get a full scale of what it looks like in the lineup. So there it is. I'd place it between the brachio and the apado just because the body height and the neck is pretty thin. Oh, we'll grab the head size really quick too. So there's the head compared to the Apatosaurus, which is way chonkier, but it has that neck articulation and head articulation like the Apado, where it rotates. The brachio and the Dreadnoughtus don't from the main line, but the Hammond brachio does, which is really nice. So there they are all together as a size comparison, with their heights at the highest point their necks can go, and it looks really nice. I'm very, very happy that we finally have the Lost World Mamenchisaurus in the lineup. I've been wanting this figure to be made by Mattel for such a long time, so finally having it in person is just spectacular, and I can't wait to compare it to the original Kenner lineup. I think it'll fit right in, and it'll be nice to see in toy photography as well. I'm excited to see what the community comes up with in terms of shots and angles. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of the community getting this figure. Make sure to go check out your local Toys R Us and Target, and I guess the pre-orders, anyone who pre-ordered it, you're probably getting 2 anyways, so definitely drop down to your local stores, check it out, try and find it. Let me know if you see it, and I'll be posting more videos on it in the near future, comparing it to other figures, so stay tuned for those. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.